This is the Queen of Politics edition of The Aaron Cruz Show, the political weekly wrap-up that packs a punch with your host, Aaron Cruz.
Hello and good evening and welcome to the Aaron Cruz Show, coming to you from Palm Springs, California. This is Aaron Cruz, Queen of Politics. Thank you for joining me. Tonight we have a ton to cover. It's been, as you know, a crazy day. I don't care if you've been at work or you've been at the mall, grocery shopping, wherever you've been at. You probably have heard about the investigation and the hearings this morning of Comey, the ex-FBI director. So we're going to be talking about the Comey leaks. That's what we're going to call them, the Comey leaks. And Comey's memo to self, I know we covered that probably 2 weeks ago. It's very kind of interesting as we watched this morning what was going on while he took the table. So, just watching him, he's the FBI director, for gosh sake. Yet he sat there and he kind of squirmed just a few times. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about his memos and emails. And we're also going to be talking about the media and the witch hunt, the distractions in the media and Congress and how they play a role. But before we get to our topics, I also wanted to remind everyone I'm actually building an interesting following, and I've received a lot of emails, direct messages on social media and the like on what people want to hear about and are interested in perspective-wise, and also people giving me feedback and information for different stories and angles, which has been just fabulous. I may not mention your name, but I do use content that I'm provided, which is reliable, and I have permissions to use. So thank you for that. But I can't emphasize enough. Please make sure and reach out. This is pretty much your show. Talk about what you want to talk about, what topics matter to you, and that's where we're going with this, especially the Queen of Politics, because pretty much we're going to talk about what I've seen all week long. And that way, if you just want a quick recap, you have 45 minutes and you can get it all right there and have a little fun in the process. And this show is pretty much highlighting the issues locally, and right now it's going to be nationally. And then we're going to touch base on Tuesday night on Political Core, where we kind of get deeper into it. But tonight is going to be kind of fun because we have this special event today. A big powwow with all these media gurus in there, just clicking away. I swear to gosh, the hum from those cameras, I can't imagine Comey sitting there hearing it. It just sounded like massive static. Anyway, but what you could do is you can go ahead and you can send me an email at info@aaroncruz.com, or you can find me all over social media. On Instagram, Facebook, you can search the Queen of Politics, the Aaron Cruz Show, Aaron Cruz. No matter what, you'll be able to find me. I'm also on Twitter as Wagner Girly. I have other accounts on there, but they're, it's not where all my politics are. So if you want to really get into the fun stuff, you can hit me up on Twitter. It's a good time. Anyway, let's go ahead and get down to business. Whoop whoop. Gosh, so. I think I mentioned this before. Folks they're totally up in arms. They don't know what to do with this Comey guy. And it was so interesting watching, some friends who are journalists of mine, and they're just saying, all these people who aren't specialists are saying they're specialists. They've got all these ideas about this and that and the other, and, yada, 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 and everybody has a perspective. Social media has really just kind of transformed the game. And I think that's awesome. I think, personally, that putting the information in your hands, at your fingertips, letting you read, letting you watch these hearings, letting you kind of talk with people. I was on 10 News San Diego on their page, and I kept getting harassed by this guy, right? I'm watching the hearings, and I'm giving my 2 cents. Apparently Siri wants to talk to me right now. I'm giving my 2 cents because we're having a conversation with different people on there. And these guys, like, nobody cares what you have to say. You know, it just insults me. And I just said, you know, let the adults talk here. People just, you get trolls, you get people who are disinterested, you get people who just want to talk the facts. We had one girl on there, she's paralegal for years. She's worked in all areas of law. She was giving her insights and, you know, just good conversation. Citizens talking. Citizens just, and we may not be the cream of the crop Harvard grads or, you know, what have you, but I'm going to tell you how empowering it is to be able to talk together, talk with one another, and be able to watch this hearing, you know, and not just be in the living room of old, listening to it on the radio or watching it on the TV and just with your family, but being able to be there with hundreds of people. It was unbelievable. So, you know, in terms of, I think, the information that we're getting as a populace, I think it's great in a lot of ways. Because when we saw Comey come in there, and I'm not sure if you didn't get a chance to watch it, it was something else. You know, the media is the humdrum, and they're kind of all set up, and they've been anticipating this for quite a while now. They're like lions just drooling, you know, pacing back and forth. And Comey comes in, and he sits down at his table. And, you know, it's almost like this kind of like little rinky-dink table, like what Hillary had, you know, with this microphone and a little placard deal, and there are people all around him. But, you know, the media is right in front of him. And he pauses. I just love this part. He pauses and he sits real still. You know what he sat still for? All of those pictures. You're right. Every picture that was up on the main stage today on social media and on newspapers and online rags worldwide, most of them with him sitting at the table were taken while he was sitting super still, trying not to smile. I could just watch his face. It was so orchestrated, like he had been, you know, he's practiced this for years. Sitting super still. His eyes pensive. His shoulders not too high, not too low. I mean, watching his arms during the hearing was just something else. I don't know if you're really into body language and all that, but I am fascinated by it, and especially given what he does for a living. It's pretty interesting. In any case, they sit there and they took all of these pictures, and then it ensues. The platitudes. I mean, platitude after platitude. We thank you for your service. We're grateful for this. We're grateful for that. I think the only other place where I've seen people pat each other on the back is the floor of Congress and in academia. Oh, wait. Let's see, the Oscars and all of the Hollywood stuff, too. I mean, talk about major, like, back patting going on. It's almost difficult for me to take a hearing seriously when we hear the introduction is being gratitude. Because, yes, Comey came in and he volunteered. He volunteered to come in and do this hearing, so much that I could say for Hillary there, right? So he came in and he volunteered his time, said he would do this. They put out a timeline that he did, you know, behind the scenes, classified discussion later on. But first he came in and he talked to the regular folks. You know, they wanted to, you know what they wanted to do there? They wanted to sit him in front of the cameras, take a lot of nice little pictures. They wanted to watch him talk to the regular folks. This is a man, people. This is not just the FBI Director Comey, and he's now not working for the FBI anymore. This man has a background, okay? It's not some kind of puny little thing. It's serious here, guys. So as we see him sit here, and his shoulders are down, and they start giving these platitudes, and he goes into and starts talking about what has gone on and answering questions. What is going through my mind as I'm watching him is, how prepared was this whole hearing? I mean, did he have the answers to everything already? Did he have the questions already? Had they talked about this? Was this all completely orchestrated? Some of it seemed like it was. Some of it did not seem like it was. So when I watched, but back to this, when I watched him, Comey, when they started asking him questions, the most interesting thing was when they started to ask him about his involvement in an investigation into Trump. And essentially they asked him, was there an investigation into the president? Was there an ongoing investigation into the president? When Comey answered those questions, the very poignant questions, the ones that were, I think, some of the most, I would say the first few questions that they asked him were some of the most valuable questions of the hearing. When he answered, he said no. And it wasn't just a no or a no or no. It was no. It was a very sharp, very calculated and articulated response. And as you watched his body as he responded, you could see the kind of the succinct manner by which he delivered the answers. And those answers categorically told me that there was no investigation into Trump. Trump already knew there was no investigation into him. There was, an investigation into, one of the guys that's now not even in the picture, in the scene, that's still being looked into, but isn't involved in the administration anymore, which we're not even going to get into him, because that, for me, that's a non-event. But when we look at Comey and how he answers that no, and I look down at the chat screen, okay, on the social medias, and I've got them all up. I've got the Fox, I've got the 10 News San Diego, I have Twitter, I have Facebook, I have, you name it, I have it all up. And I'm watching, and so many people had no idea that Trump was not being investigated. I mean, is this not news? I mean, is this information that the MSM is not delivering to the people? Because so far as I know, and so many of my friends know, we already knew that, okay? Trump was never under investigation, in fact. He was never being looked at. Now, the question is was there surveillance, or was he being watched? Okay, or was he being spied on? Okay, that's different than an investigation, all right? They didn't get into that. Okay, so when Comey answered those questions, he was very succinct. And then as we move forward in this kind of questioning that went on throughout the morning, we see dilution. I mean, we just see the water being added. Everything is just getting diluted, okay? Watered down. Confused. I mean, Comey got to the point where he was saying that no, there was no investigation into Trump. There never was an investigation into Trump. That, no, Trump never asked him or gave him orders to stop investigating that guy we're not going to talk about. Trump never gave those orders. And he was succinct. He went from that to saying that Trump was kind of alluding to, by the way, but kind of the curious way that Trump came about suggesting that, he's a nice guy, we should just let it go, that type of thing. Now Comey is being a little slippery little fish and flip-flopping around and saying, well, but, that's kind of what he was was saying was that, no, I need to just not go there. I need to make sure and I not investigate this guy. So anyway, in any case, what we saw Comey flip-flopping. Totally hardcore on some of his answers. Then on his other answers, he was flipping around. So he's saying, no, Trump wasn't being investigated. No, Trump never asked me to let go and stop investigating this other guy. I'll call him Mr. F. And, he says those succinct, and then he kind of sways and flips and flips and flips and flips. Now, the interesting part is, because I know you're going to hear this all over and all over and all over again, but I'm trying to get to the points which really matter, okay, in communicating this to you. So when you hear these things, you can kind of poignantly go, oh, okay, that's what she was talking about. Oh my gosh, I didn't think about this before. So when Feinstein came on and she started questioning Comey, it was really quite interesting how she worded things. Okay? She came about it in a way, because she's not liked Comey. She wanted him gone. And there are many reasons why I think she wanted him gone. There are a lot of people who wanted him gone. Maxine Waters wanted him gone. All of this. Democrats wanted him gone. But, the way she worded it to Comey, and the way he responded, she was trying to get him to talk. She's been in the intelligence community and on these different committees for quite some time. And I have to say, it's probably one of the areas where I think she's pretty strong. I don't even like her being in there because I don't like her politics. But in terms of the way she looks at things and views things, in many ways in that area, I see that she's strong. And what she was trying to do is get him to talk. Get him relax a little bit. Oh boy, did she ever. Because his tongue started to get loose. And as he started talking and his arms start moving and he starts opening up, you can begin to see his kind of decision to try to portray himself as this nice guy. Well, I was trying to be helpful. I didn't really understand. And he was going kind of on about how he was confused. This is the director of the FBI, or the ex-director of the FBI. Trust me, he doesn't get confused. Make zero mistakes about that. All of this, while he's sitting up there, Mr. Nice Guy and low-key and all that, I'm telling you, it's a ruse. He is the director, or the ex-director of the FBI. He used to be a prosecutor. I mean, he's the one who put good old Martha Stewart behind jail bars, okay? He's the guy who runs it all, pretty much there. This is no just sweet little old guy who's now not working for the FBI anymore like he's trying to portray. He was confused. He didn't know. I don't know. I mean, so many times he said, I don't know, or I can't talk about that, in open session. The thing is this, people. This is the ex-director of the FBI, period. He has a background that's ironclad. Ironclad. I mean, in terms of his experience with law. I mean, when he went into the area that he was asked a bit about felonies, because they went into his memo. They were talking a lot about his memo. And I'm going to tell you, when they got into his memo, you should have seen his body shift. He was uncomfortable. And one of the reasons why is because he, I think, really thought that this would play to his benefit. And maybe he's right. But, here he is, this ex-FBI director. He's afraid. He doesn't want to be left with Donald Trump alone. So he wants Sessions, he wants somebody there. Okay? He wants other people there. Just don't leave me with Trump. I mean, can you imagine this? Just don't leave me with him. It's not appropriate. Well, look. If it's not appropriate and we have a non-politician in office as president, and this isn't the way things are run, why would it not be entirely appropriate to, in a respectful manner, say, I'm not sure that this is the platform to conduct this sort of XYZ. Completely professional, not disrespectful, not in a way which is, outside of any sort of professionalism, in respect for the position as president, but just as a means of, keeping what Comey said is the integrity of the FBI there and solid. So, when we look at that and we see him, Comey, sit there and he says, don't leave me with the president, for the integrity and the sake of the FBI, it just makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder. It makes you think, okay, is this guy who he says he is? Because he's trying to play it down. So as they start to talk about why he became uncomfortable, why did you become uncomfortable? Oh, well, because Trump was operating in a way which was not consistent with current and previous operational procedures, blah, 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 and asking him to pledge his loyalty. Oh, good grief, for the love of Pete's sake. How old are we? Are we still in junior high? Now, I get it. I get that there are procedures and manners by which we operate. And we do it for our own protection. We do it for the integrity of the system. Yes, okay, that's fine. You can claim that 100 times out of 100, but you can't claim that if you're going to go ahead and, because you're uncomfortable, make a memo and then decide to give that memo or more memos or that memo and emails or other information to another party who's then going to hand it to who else but the media. And you admittedly say so out loud, under oath, and you talk to me and every other American here, who some of them work for government. You talk to them about the integrity of the system, the integrity of maintaining proper forum, maintaining all of these sorts of, proper actions within government, and then you go off and you do that. It doesn't fly. It doesn't fly. Okay? It just doesn't. So what Comey did was he went ahead and he admittedly, under oath, people, under oath, he admitted that he wrote these memos because he was concerned about what was going on and the manner by which business was being carried out, and knowingly and willingly handed them off to a colleague who was tied with Columbia University, and making sure that got to media. He said it. He said it himself. He offered it. He gave it. He said it under oath. And then he says that, that he wanted somebody else there in the room because of the integrity of the system and, all of these other concepts. No, it doesn't work that way, Mr. Comey. And you know what the thing is Comey knew that. Comey absolutely, 100%, without a doubt, no hesitation, absolutely none whatever. And I hate to be kind of accusatory on this, but this is a smart man. He knew exactly what he was doing. Okay? He did it. He's responsible for it. He said he did it. Now what? What I found interesting also was that when they went forward in the in the hearings, they went forward, and Comey was asked if he could go ahead and provide, if he knew where the memos were at. And he basically said that he knew who he gave them to, but he didn't know where the memos were at. Now, the committee asked for Comey to try to get those memos back, because the committee said that does Comey still know if this person has the memos or the emails or whatever else? Comey didn't know. He said he might. I don't know. Are you kidding me? You're the director or the ex-director of the FBI. You give material that is correspondence about your conversations, your private and personal or professional, should I say, government conversations, we the people owned, important conversations with our president, you hand them off to a man to go give and leak to the media. Okay? And you don't know if that guy has them still, or if he's deleted them, burned them, given them to somebody else, still has them, who knows? That's a little disconcerting. And then the committee asked if he could please, because Comey wanted to just wash his hands of it. You could see it in his face, you could see it in his mouth, you could see it in his body language, you could hear it in his voice. Comey wanted to let it go. He did. He wanted to let it go. And the committee said that they wanted him to contact that person and see if he could get all of that information back and provide it to the committee. Now, the question is this, and I'm hoping they asked him this in the private hearings. What the heck did Comey give this guy? Did he give him papers? Did he hand them to them in person? Hand them to him or her in person? Did he email them? Was it something transmitted that other people could have gotten their hands onto? And Comey talks about a specific communication device which is protected for classified information. Was this one of those pieces? Was it? What in the heck are our lead government officials doing? To me, this just shows exactly why and exactly how other governments, like Russia, are getting into our system, because this is weak. This is weak, weak, weak. I am disappointed in the leadership, and I am disappointed in Comey, and I'm disappointed even in the committee and their inability to pin him down and to ask him questions which were poignant about that. Well, were they emails? Was it paper? Did you meet him? Those sorts of things. We don't get any of that. It's just a conversation. It's a polite gentleman's conversation. Come on. So, okay. So as we go from there, and then we look at the committee wanting him to provide that material back to them. That's great. But then we start talking, I think he gets talking about Trump and whether or not, Trump was pressuring him to let go of the investigation into Trump's good guy friend in his administration. Oh my gosh. I have heard so much jibber jabber on this part of the investigation, which is just busy work to me. Look, Trump could have shut that whole thing down, told Comey, look, that investigation has to stop. I'm going to pardon this guy for whatever he's done. Okay, yeah, it would have brought a lot of flack down on Trump. But Trump could have shut that down. He could have shut that down. He could have opened up another investigation into Hillary. He is who he is. He can do that. He has the powers by which to go ahead and do that. You don't believe me? Go look it up. I'm not going to do your homework for you. You're a smart person. I know you are. But what I'm trying to tell you is that Trump could do that. He could tell him, stop. And he didn't. Instead, he fired him, and that's what people are so upset about. But what I'm going to tell you is that I don't believe Trump fired him because he was going to open an investigation into Trump. I think Trump fired him because he was going to fire him before, but he's sitting there, Trump is, thinking, I want to keep an eye on this guy for a while. Who knows what he's been up to? He was part of Obama's plan. He's part of the Hillary machine. Yes, he is, folks. He's part of the Hillary machine. Go back and look at it. I've been talking about this for a while. Comey is already all the way back. He's directly linked with Whitewater investigation and the Clintons. He's part of the Clinton crime syndicate. Clinton crime group, okay? Whatever you want to call it. We have hashtags all over online about it. But he's part of that group, the Clinton machine, and he's part of it. He may not be as big of a part, but, he's certainly privy to certain things. So don't be fooled on this, people. Don't be fooled on this. Comey could have been shut down in a number of ways. And Trump kept him around, watched him, and said, you know what, we're done. Trump gave him an opportunity to say, yeah, I'll work with you. And, I think Trump automatically saw in his face, in his eyes, Trump's no dummy. Okay, people play him out to be a dummy. He's no dummy. Okay, you can call him Pizza Head, you can call him Carrot Top, you can call him all sorts of things. Trump is not a dummy. I think Trump saw it. He saw that he was not genuine. He saw that he was not authentic. He saw that his priorities and his ties went back too far into Clinton's hands. Now, we know Trump has been friends with the Clintons. We have pictures of them online. It's a small town up there at the top. But the point is this, is a lot of people are out to get our nation right now, and the last thing we need in there is somebody who's out to get the guy who's trying to help get things back on track. Our country needs strength. It needs unity. It needs direction. The last thing we need is a weak link that thinks he can take memos, hand them to a buddy in Columbia University or whatever, and hand them to the media. Comey leaked government documents to the media. Well, I'm going to say that again. Comey leaked government documents to the media. Okay? And there's no bones about that. That is what that is. You can't change it. It's right there for everybody to see. But, I want to put this point. And the point is this, is that we have a girl, and her name is Reality Winner. Okay, she's this 25-year-old federal contractor who was charged Monday with leaking top-secret NSA report detailing how Russian military hackers targeted U.S. voting systems just day before the election. Okay, look, this girl leaks about how, Russia did this. How they did it. Comey is the director of the FBI at the time. But he's the ex-director of the FBI, and he leaks these documents, these memos, these conversations with the president. You don't get any higher than communicating with the president and leaking documents like that. This girl's in big trouble. And what about Comey? Now, what I want to talk about, because we just have a few more minutes here. What I want to talk about now is something that people are bringing up, because as we move through this investigation toward realizing that Comey now was one of our leakers, okay? It's so saddening to think that could be the case, but it is. One of our leakers. And we have Trump, who's now, in a position, I think a better position to do his job, without this kind of horrible thing sitting over here on the sidelines giving out information that could harm our nation. That's what I think about, is our people and our nation, and doing these sorts of things to undermine the presidency is just outrageous. As much as he doesn't like what Trump was doing or how he was doing it, there's a definite way to go about it, and this was not the way. And he felt that this was the way. And for a man who's confused and doesn't know and doesn't know and doesn't know and is confused and all of the different things that he says, I was a coward. I should have been stronger. I mean, he's so full of crap. Okay? He's full of crap. He sure knows what he wants to do to sabotage our country and to undermine our president. That's just horrid. So when we look at this girl and we look at Comey, we have to think, why is Comey still walking free? And then we have to think about a little bit more, which is Hillary Clinton, because John McCain brought up an interesting point, and that was later on in the hearing when he mentions, why is Hillary not here? Why are we not talking to her about what went on with these hacks? Why are we not talking and hearing from her groups and her administration about this? This is a timeline. Why, Comey, did you let her go off of all of those, the non-secure server, all the emails, the hack affair, all of those issues? You let her go. She broke the law, clearly broke the law. He didn't go to Lynch. He didn't write memos about that. He didn't write memos about Benghazi. He didn't write memos about any other kinds of anything having to do with anything. No. He wrote memos about his conversations with Trump. He let Hillary go. And what interesting fact that McCain had to say is why is Hillary not here? Why are we not investigating her? And that's an interesting point. Why is this all about Trump? Trump's interaction with Russia? Because Hillary, we know, as we've heard on my previous shows, Hillary, we know, has had plenty of interaction herself with Russia, years deep, personal and professional, big business deals, which now Russia owns 20% of our uranium reserves thanks to her and her ilk. Comey oversaw Whitewater, or was a part of that whole deal. I mean, all these people are tied together, but come on, why is it just about Trump and Russia? What's so special there? I'll tell you, they want Trump's head, they want his seat, they want him out. And the best thing we can do is back up our guy, back up our team, back up our people, and make sure, not blindly, but make sure that we're getting the right information out to people. One of the other interesting facts that I noted was when McCain brought that up, I thought to myself, well, this is interesting. If Trump could have shut the whole thing down, okay, the whole investigation into this F guy, and shut Comey down on any investigation, really, why then, going back prior to Trump being elected president, or president-elect even, why didn't Obama take action against Russia? Because I'm going to tell you the bigger deal is not Trump and Russia. The bigger deal is Obama and Russia. Bada bing, bada boom, bam. Okay? That is where the money ticket is Obama and Russia. Because Obama was the one in power when Hillary had her server. Obama was the one in power when Hillary was running around rogue with her mobile device that she couldn't use 2 cell phones. Obama was the one in charge when all of this was going on. Okay? When Russia did their hacks. This was pre-Trump. This is pre-election. For months prior that they had warnings. And you know how I know that? We've seen this time and time again with big, huge companies like Yahoo, and other companies who've been hacked, is that we don't even get the details for several years. Okay? But they knew about it. They knew about it well before. They knew that the Russians were trying, or whomever was trying. They have forensic teams. They have entire organizations that look into all of this and keep an eye and watch all the traffic going in and out. Why wasn't our infrastructure stronger? And I've said this time and time again. Obama. It's not Trump. It's Obama who wanted this to happen. Obama who let Russia in. It's Obama and Hillary weakening and breaching of our system with that server and other actions that were just reckless and knowing so, and people funding this and setting this up and helping them. I mean, this, folks, is the issue. It's not Trump. Okay? You need to think about that, because Obama was the one in charge when all this rolled down. And they didn't want to ruin elections, and they did, and it did, and they blamed Comey, and they threw Comey under the bus. But I'm going to tell you what, sisters and brothers, my patriots, we all know, we're not dumb. I mean, we can't prove it, but we all know, because we're not dumb, that they knew. They just let it go. They let our infrastructure weaken, our cybersecurity weaken, and the Russians got in. Who's responsible? It was on Obama's watch. Trump? Comey's a fall guy. Trump, he was the target. And that's so unfortunate. I wanted to actually get into a little bit of this Idaho, this girl who who was unfortunately a situation. I know I'm shifting gears. She's a 5-year-old girl in Idaho, and 3 refugee boys were responsible for the sexual assault of her. It's gruesome. It's horrible. I will be providing the link, and I know it's sensitive and graphic, but I will be providing the link on tonight's show after I've posted it, posted the show. This is the thing, guys, is we think about Russia, we think about Comey, we think about what Obama did, because he's ultimately the one who's the head. He was responsible at the time. We think about Hillary, thank God she's not in office. We think about all these things and the rollout of what's happened overseas and the uptick in ISIS and all of these things. And we have to wonder what the end result is. The end result is a system which is failing us. It's failing our people. These courts are not doing their jobs. These judges are not doing their job. I even posted an article the other day about a judge who got a DUI. Here she is. She's going to receive her $170,000 a year salary while she sits this thing out and then works in the downward barrel of research for a while. Okay, we have judges in here who are letting people go. These refugee boys got away with this. They let them go. Okay, and I'm just they've put in a gag order that the parents can't talk about this, and I mean it's a huge story. I would like for everybody to really look at their communities and take a look at what's going on in their areas and decide what's important to them, because you know we look all the way to the top for guidance and leadership. Really, what it is we have to look. It's impacting us in our homes, in our little communities across this nation, and that's not okay, people. It's not okay. It's important that we make sure that we get the good information to every one of us who needs it. If you see something, say something. Don't pass fake news. Make sure that the information you pass is solid. Stay in touch with your brothers and sisters, patriots. It's so important, connected at church or other organizations. And always ask yourself the question, why? Why did this happen? What was going on? Who benefited? And, take action where you can in terms of calling your congressperson or your local representatives. It's important. And again, stay connected on social media and other places, and locally in your different community activities. It's important as well. I'm looking forward. I know we've got so much ahead of us, but I'm really looking forward to this next couple of years here and what we can accomplish together, because really we've seen great things. The stock market's doing really well. Job numbers are going up. Illegal immigration is being cut. Yeah, it's hard work. It's an uphill battle, but, we got this. We've got this. And we worked hard for it, all of us together. It was a tough battle, but we're here, and we're going to keep fighting for the next 4 to 8 years. We're going to keep fighting, and we're never going to give up. So I'm going to give you those numbers I always give you every week for Congress. It's 202-224-3121, House.gov. There's Senate.gov. You can also look up other resources on my website, AaronCruz.com. You can send emails and inquiries to me at info@AaronCruz.com. And I'll be putting the references up on the website shortly as well. And I always want to remind you that if you ever want me to cover something for you, or if you have a tip for me, please reach out. I'm just a click away, okay? And I also want to thank you tonight for joining me, Aaron Cruz, the Queen of Politics, for the Aaron Cruz Show. Join me again this next Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Political Core. And we want to get to the core of the issues that matter to you, okay, in your community. And we want to help you make positive change in your state and in the nation, all right? Have a blessed evening, all. God bless you. And God bless America.
To hear more and to learn more on how you can make an impact or about the Queen of Politics and the Aaron Cruz Show, visit us online at AaronCruz.com. That's ErinCruz.com.